Talking about Joseph's sons. Joseph's sons. Yes. Well, it doesn't. Uh, you're considered Hebrew by your bloodline, not by where you're born. Just like we could be born in another country. You know, you could take somebody who's from Canada to be born here, and they'll call them an American, but their bloodline is Canadian. And so your citizenship is one place, but you're just like in America. Many people are born here that they're American citizens, but they're you take for instance Shirley, where you was born here. You were born here, so you're an American, but really you're Haitian. Yeah, so that's how it happened. What happened now? It said, what you in? Get a mic. I'm gonna get a mic so I can hear you better. Okay.
Praise the Lord.
Okay.
The fifth verse in the 48th chapter, it says, "And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine, as Reuben and Simeon. They shall be mine, and thy issue, which thou begettest after them, shall be thine."
What does it mean? It's two of his children replaced two of the tribes of Israel because the tribes of Israel had messed up. So two of them were kicked out. Two of the original tribes were, if you go over to the book of Genesis, chapter 49. You see all the tribes of Israel. So go to Genesis 49 and 1. Okay, 49 and 3. Reuben, thou art my firstborn. That's his first son, right? That's one. Simeon and Levi, right? Judah, number 4. Judah, Zebulun, number 5. Ashkar, number 6. Dan, number 7. Gad, number 8. Asher, number 9. Naphtali, number 10. Joseph, number 11. And Benjamin would be number 12, all right? But when you go back to the book of Revelations, chapter 7, two of those you don't see because they were replaced. Two of Joseph's sons replaced the tribes. 7th chapter, and I heard 145 of the tribe of Judah was sealed. That's Judah, Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh. Manasseh was not one of Judah's sons. Manasseh was one of Joseph's sons. Manasseh, Simeon, Levi, Asher, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. So you'll see here that Manasseh has replaced Dan. You don't see Dan as a tribe here. Mm-hmm. Dan is not mentioned there. Okay? And then you don't see this Dan. Let's read here. We got the tribe of Judah. You got Reuben. You got Asher. You got Naphtali. You got Manasseh. You got Simeon. You got Levi, Asher, Zebulun. And then you'll see, I'll go back to the other one where the other one was replaced, but you'll see Dan, Manasseh. If you go back to where you was reading in Genesis.
What about Asher? A-S-E-R.
Go back to Genesis. Because you go back to Genesis 49. 49th chapter. 49, you see who they are. You have Reuben, you have Simeon, you have Levi, you have Judah, you have Zebulun, Asher, you have Dan, you have Asherah. That's one of his sons. That's one of the original tribes. So he's still mentioned there. Naphtali, he's still there. Joseph and Benjamin. But when he goes back, he's saying to him that he's going to take Joseph's two sons that was born for him. He's going to raise them like they're his own boys. So they would be a part of Judah's family, as if they were his sons. So they're literally like Joseph's brothers in his eyes, because he took his two sons. If you go back to the scripture you read at first, was that 48? When you start reading at 40 what?
Yes, sir, and 5.
48 and 5. So look what he says. And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. Is it just like Reuben and Simeon are mine? Those boys are mine. And they that issued which thou begottest after them shall be thine. So your two boys, your first two boys are mine. Mm-hmm. The other two boys you can have. They're going to be yours. So I'm adopting your sons. Mm-hmm. Basically what his daddy did is adopted his grandsons. Mm-hmm. And he gave them inheritance with his other sons. Mm-hmm. Amen?
Amen. All
right. So God bless everybody. Let's give the Lord a hand praise. I'm going to be talking today. This is our chapel, and I decided to have our staff meeting. We have a staff Bible study, so we got 3 studies going at one time. I want to talk about today rules and relationships. Okay, everybody, rules and relationships. And one of the things I'm talking about today is to be able to help the young people, and I'm kind of dressed down today because it's chapel, but to be able to help the young people to understand rules and relationships. Now, when you're dealing with, and I want to talk about teenage parenting, teenage relationships, and school relationships, pastoral relationship, employee relationship. I want to talk about relationships, period. Because sometimes these are the challenges. So we got 2 things that's very important in structure, whether it's a mother, father, children, teacher, student, pastor, member, any relationship that requires someone to be subject, any relationship that requires somebody to be subject, husband and wife, anyone that requires that requires a relationship. Notice something when you go to the book of Ephesians 6 and 1. Let's go to Ephesians 6 and 1 first. And I'm going to have someone to write for me. All right. Do you all have your Bible while you're here with your math book? Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay. All right. Ephesians 6 and 1. Okay.
Children.
So children,
obey your
so
parents.
the first thing that it implies before a relationship begins, before a rule is given, right? So tell all of the children and all of the staff I want them in too, except those there. So the first thing it implies before anything begins is a relationship. So it says children. Okay. Children do what?
Obey your parents.
Obey. So children. All right, go back to the book of Ephesians. Okay. Chapter 5. Ephesians chapter 5. And 22.
Wives, submit yourselves.
So it starts children, it starts wives, and then the next one that we'll go to is in Peter. First Peter. Two and 18. Servants, be subject to your masters with all fear. So a couple of things before we start. First it says, children, obey your parents. Then he says, wives, be submitted to your husband. Then he says, servants, put your coat up, sit up. All right? So, hey, son, hey, get right beside you. Sit up. Up. All right. And I want y'all to have Bibles next, so I'm talking, I want everybody's attention. I want you to lean down, slumped over. I want you to hear what I'm saying. Children, servants, wives, all of those are relationships. So when he says about children, be obedient to your husband, it implies there's a father, son, or a mother, son, or mother-daughter relationship. It says wives, then it requires there is a wife-husband relationship. Servants, that means there's a master-servant or boss-employee relationship that exists in order to be obedient, in order to be subject. So he gives you specific people. And then Hebrews chapter 13 and 17, right? Obey them that have rule, we're going to deal with rule over you, and submit yourselves for the watchman of their soul, that they may do it with joy, and that they may give an account. Go back. That they must give an account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that's unprofitable unto you. So a couple of things that we want to talk about today, because there's a lot of people who have had a lot of questions about rules, There's a lot of, and so I want to deal with teachers. I want to deal with students. I want to deal with employees. I want to deal with husband, wife, whatever. Rules are a part of everything that you do in life. Everything you do in life, there's rules. Okay? There's rules to everything. And rules are for protection. Now how we're going to obey those rules, how those rules are going to be carried out, is going to be based upon the relationship we have. Rules are easily followed when they're coming from people who have a relationship. And so this is where teachers, I want to talk to you about relationships. I want to talk to you about rules. Okay? I want to talk to you about rules, teachers about relationships. I want to talk to those that are perhaps say husbands or wives, husbands about rules, wives about rules, husbands about relationship, because what makes rules easy to follow if we have a relationship? It's easier to be obedient to me if we're friends. It's easier to be obedient to me if we have a connection. And so one of the problems that husbands and wives have with each other is, and I want everybody to listen to me, because this is one of the problems that husbands and wives have with each other. The woman is hard to obey him because she has no relationship with him. One of the problems that makes it very difficult for children to obey parents if there is no relationship with the parents. That makes it very difficult. So to make rules easy to be obeyed, to make it easy for a wife to submit, to make it easy for children to obey, there must be a genuine relationship between the teacher, the student. That must be, and so as teachers, although the rules are here, and we got to make sure these rules are obeyed, and you got to understand we got to make sure these rules are obeyed. That is 100% sure. But don't focus on the rules, focus on the relationship, because when you focus on the relationship, it makes the rules easy. When you focus on rules, it's difficult. When you focus on relationships, it's easy. So if I come all day and all day what I'm saying is obey the rules, obey the rules, obey the rules, obey the rules, that becomes difficult. If I come and say relationship, 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 then when I put rules, rules are easier. Everybody follow me? Everybody with me? Your job as the students is to focus on rules and obeying those rules. Now we got a problem, and everybody want to suggest, okay, well, maybe we ought to change this, maybe we ought to change this, maybe we ought to change this. Focus on rules, and when you focus on rules, I want you to focus on why. Why the rules are there, and not the rule itself. Because part of the problem that we have is we look at rules, but we don't look at why the rules are there and what the rules are for and their reason for protecting us. So when you only look at the rules that are there, you look, so for instance, give you an example. We have rules about score keys, okay? And why you shouldn't have pencils at the score keys. Why you shouldn't have score keys at home. Why there's a scoring time, why there's not a scoring time. You know why those rules are there? Because it's protecting your education. Because if you go to class and you're permitted to cheat all day, all long, or through your whole school term, you're able to cheat. When you get where you're going to need it the most, you're not going to have the education. Because when you go in the real world, You're not going to have a score key when you go to get a job. You're not going to have a score key when you go to college. You're not going to have a score key when you got to fill out an application. So the rule that says don't cheat, it's to protect you from being ignorant, because if you put all that knowledge inside of you, if you write and cheat and lie all the way through school, there's going to come a time you're going to need the information for real and you won't have a score key, like when you go get a job. Okay? So whereas you're upset because somebody giving you a rule to protect you from your education in the future because you're cheating, and guess what? At the end of the day, you don't know anything. So understand the rule. Let me give you some other rules and see, and this is what the Bible says. Go back to Hebrews chapter 7, 13 and 7. Hebrews 13 and 7. Where's my eraser? 13 and 7. All right, 13 and 7. Okay, let's go over another one. Rules. Okay, it may not be. Now, teachers, what did I say I want you to focus on? What? All right. Students, what I want you to focus on? Rules. And understanding what? Why. Okay? Let me give you an example. A rule about talking in class. That is a rule. It is a strict rule. It has to be carried out. And although that's that rule and those demerits, those intentions, because we're going to talk about rules come with consequences and rewards. Okay? Why is that important? We got a couple of reasons. It protects the school. Because guess what? At this time, you don't have discipline. There's discipline that you don't have now. And if we came in today and we just set up a schedule and said to everybody, when we set up that schedule, you all make however you want to do it. You make the rules however you want it. We will get very less work done because your schedule may be to talk 30 minutes and take a break to talk 30 minutes and work 5 minutes because you don't have discipline to set certain rules in for your place, for yourself yet, to know how they would damage you in the future. So we got to set rules that we know are for your best benefit until you get the knowledge to understand. So right now, today, I give you an example. So Sherry works here. Anna works here. Isaac, all these work here. Just like you have breaks and stuff in your classroom, right? How many breaks you get a day, Celia? 2 15 minutes and a lunch. You got that's 2 15 minutes and a lunch is 30, right? Who is responsible for making sure you take your breaks and you're back in time? You are. So you go in on your own. Sherry don't say, okay, get up for lunch, come back in. You do that on your own. That's the same thing for Sherry. So as you graduate, you learn rules from people telling you what to do, but then as you get older, you learn how to obey those rules yourself. You haven't learned that yet because that's how the real world is. The real world works 2 15-minute break, a 30-minute lunch, and you got to know when to go yourself, and they got to know the full rest of the day, not to sit down in the office and talk all day and play all day. They know when their break time is, they take their break. They know when their lunch time is, they take their lunch. You haven't learned that yet, and we're trying to teach you that because that's how it works on the real world. So they can't sit in the office and talk all day when they want to talk. But now they're employed, so I don't have to regulate that. I don't have to say, okay, y'all sit down, it's time to be quiet. Because when you get in the real world, no boss is going to need time to watch you. So if a teacher tells you that you shouldn't talk, that's the rule that protects you because we're trying to teach you how to operate in the real world of workforce. Why is that rule now discipline? Why has that rule become bad? You're hurting yourself if you want that rule changed. Because if you got class and you're spending an hour talking, 2 hours talking, and let me tell you, I want y'all to get this. If a teacher allows you to talk 2 hours and work 10 minutes, that's not for your benefit because that's going to destroy you in your education. If a parent allows you not to do your homework, that parent ain't in your best interest because that's going to hinder you from your education. So the teacher who has discipline, the teacher who says, hey, I want you to get your work, they're really the one that's helping you. What feels good to you is not always good for you. Because guess what? If I let you sit in the class all day and do no work, and it comes graduation time and you can't graduate, whose fault is that? I'm going to be a part of that. And so if I don't want you to blame me in the future for you not being educated, because this is what teachers are saying. This is how teachers feel. Wait a minute. I don't want you to get to the 18, and when you get 18, you can't spell, you can't write, and you can't do algebra, and then you pointing it back at me because I let you play and lollygag in class all day. Now, this is what happens. Rules, and you got to be careful when people come in your class and they talk about, and again, teachers are focusing on what? Hey, son, I got it. Hey, son, hey, get it. Hey, son, hey, son, sit up. All right, I want you to look at me. Sit up. You need something to drink or you need to sit up? Stand up. Okay. You need something to blow your nose or something? You okay? All right, hold up. I want y'all to give me your undivided attention. Now, because I want us to get this. When teachers are focusing on what? Relationship. And relationship means to me explaining to you why. See, when you give an explanation, and that explanation lets you know I'm trying to protect you, it makes it easier. If I say to you, hey, son, I don't want you talking in school because, number one, you're interrupting other students that are trying to do their lesson. It's important because everybody don't want to play. Somebody want to go to school to learn. You're interrupting other people. You're hurting your own education. Y'all with me? So rules, okay? Look at the book of Hebrews 13:7.
Remember them which have the rule over you, who have spoken unto you the word of God, whose faith follow, considering the end.
Okay, verse 17. So we got two focus, rules for the students, and relationships for the teachers. Now, that's two things that's going to help. The students are going to try to understand the rules so they can understand the rules. The teachers is going to focus so they can understand the student. And that means not just looking at the student's behavior, but understanding the student's behavior. Why the behavior? Just like the students are trying to understand why the rule, then you want to understand why the behavior. Now, let me explain something to you about this, okay, so that you can get it. You can get clear. Me understanding the rule doesn't compromise the rule. Me understanding the student don't compromise the rule. So this is what students have to understand so we can have the same mind. The student have to understand the rule, let's say the talking in class rule. Or let's say the moving in classroom or the making distraction in classroom. the teacher understands, the student understands, the rules must be kept, because if the rules are not kept, then wake up, son. Get him up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. It's all right. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up so you won't go to sleep. Stand up. Stand on up. You'll be all right. I know you're sleepy, but I want you to stand up. I'm not upset with you. Just want you to hear. Just help you stay up. You about to go too. Stand up. You about knocked out? You about to just go to sleep? You sure? Your eyes were doing all this here. I saw you a little bit. You good? All right. So let me say this. So as a student, I have to understand the teacher wants the rules kept so I won't disrupt the class and so other students can learn. As a teacher, I have to understand being in a class in one spot for 2 hours and just sitting down and not moving can be uncomfortable. So I have to understand that. So sometime in my rule setting, I may say, hey, I know this is a little uncomfortable. Stand up, stretch yourself, sit out, because I'm understanding the student, and the student is understanding the rule. Because if I'm in the class at one spot for an hour and a half, not moving, I can get jittery. It can't. Now, you have the privilege to get up and do that. They don't. So I got to understand the student as a person, as a human, and you got to understand the rule. That gives us both an area to understand it from each other's standpoint. That gives me the mind to say, all right, I know what the teacher is saying about me talking in class, and then that gives me a mind as a teacher to say, wait, I understand how this could be to sit in one spot for an hour and a half, so let me make adjustments based upon me knowing the student, and you behave based upon you knowing the rule and why. That makes sense? Because it's all about having relationships. And relationships means to be able to be relatable. That means I understand you and you understand me. We understand each other. Follow me? Y'all with me? So when you go in that classroom, you need to understand the rule. Now the next thing you got to understand, I want to make sure y'all get this. Some feel as though, and when I come to meetings with you, I'm in the middle. I'm not on the teacher's side, I'm not on the student's side. And I'm saying this too also for husband, wife, employees, different things like that. This is important. You got to understand my task and your task. Okay? Watch this. I want everybody to look at me. Everybody look at me. What am I doing now? Okay? What am I doing now? What am I doing now? I want you to come here, son. I want you to look. Now, you just did that, right? I want you to sit up right now, turn around. And I want you to tell me what everybody is doing in here at the same time. Can you? You can tell me what everybody's doing right now at one time. I'm talking about, no, what? No, there's other people doing other stuff. What is everybody doing right now? No, some people doing stuff. Your sister over there scratching, she moving her legs, she moving her hands. He got his hand on his head. Can you tell what all of these people doing at one time? No. All right? But everybody can tell what you're doing. So sometimes you think a teacher is biased, but she got 50 of y'all to watch, and I'm not going to catch everything at the same time. You got one. So you'll accuse a teacher of being biased, but the teacher got 50 of you to watch. You ain't got but one of me to watch. So it's easy for you to say what I'm doing, but you say, oh, you didn't get her, you didn't get that one, you didn't get that one, because I got 50 to watch, and I ain't got but one set of eyes. You got one person to watch. So stop claiming somebody's being biased. Now, it might catch them later. You may get 5 people cheating. I may not get y'all 5. I may catch you today, and I have to get the other 4 later. That don't mean I'm biased. That means I just didn't see it. And I can only judge what I see. And you can't judge me because I got one side of the eyes and you got one person to watch and I got 50, because you couldn't do that now. But see, when you're not looking at rules and obligations in relationship, you only see it your way. And becoming adults allows you to be able to see things from an adult perspective. That's why you still see things from a child's perspective, and adults see things from an adult's perspective. But having a relationship will allow us to know that. Having a relationship, I can sit down and say, you know what? I didn't see it. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it's possible. It's possible that I missed it because I only got one set of eyes, and we can have that communication. You see how different, you see the difference, how a little understanding will make a difference in something? Everybody with me? Y'all follow me? But rules are the center of life. It's the whole center. Give me the book of Hebrews 13 and 17. Everybody with me? Y'all with me? Now, praise the Lord, sister. Love you. Hebrews 13 and 17, what it says. Right? Obey them that have rule over you and do what? And submit. So obey, watch. There's a couple of things. Obey them that have rule over you and submit. So obedience and submission is two different things. I'll talk about that later. Obey them that have rule over you and submit for they what? For they what?
For they watch for your soul.
For they watch for your soul.
As they that must give account.
So look at what the teacher or the parent is watching for. Okay. Let's talk about phones. Okay. Let's talk about first parents with phones. Then we're going to talk about schools with phones. That's important. Some of y'all get very bad attitudes because parents take phones, parents monitor phones, parents watch what you see on the phone. First of all, your parents with phones, especially young girls and young men, they're trying to protect you because some of y'all don't have discipline because you go on phone, you show your bodies, you do all this kind of stuff on the phone, which is quite ignorant. And because you don't have that kind of sense, because the next thing you know, your whole body's on YouTube and TikTok, and everybody over there looking at you. Your whole what is it called? Our talk, TikTok, tongue, whatever. But your whole body's around there. You don't have enough discipline to understand that. And let me tell you this, there's certain things about you should be secret. And so you're going on and you're going on Facebook or going on phones, sharing it with somebody. See, you girls don't know how boys at this age sometimes think. And so you take a picture, you think you're sending it to somebody, and there's 5 of them in a group looking at you. And they're sharing it with you. And here you are, you think you're private, no, it's not, it don't work like that. And so for a parent now to tell you, no, let me get your phone, I'm gonna take your phone because you're not disciplined enough to do it, that's protecting you. What would be the good of your parent having a phone, if they got their own phone and keeping that phone away from you and they're paying a bill and yet taking it away? What would be the cause of that? That's to protect you. But because you only see the punishment and don't see the protection, you think your parent is bad. There are so many young ladies and young men that have been adopted and taken because of the phone. When your parents see you doing things that you have no business doing, they have a responsibility, and you get angry with them because you only see the punishment but not the protection. A good parent will not let you do everything you want to do. If your parents let you do anything you want to do, because right now mentally you're not mature, If they let you do anything you would want to do, you would be in trouble because you do not by nature want to do the right thing. You have to be taught to do the right thing. Phones in schools, and see what happens is when we try to press the rules and push the rules. Now, some rules, and if there are things that I feel like are not reasonable and that can be worked on, I look at those. And some of y'all sent me some things. I look at those and I see where adjustments can be made. But when you come to school, to learn. If the school did not permit you to have the phone at all, it would still be good. Because you didn't come to talk on the phone. You came to do lessons. And what's happening to keep you focused and to keep your mind on your school lesson, and the little bit, now, if it was me, I wouldn't let you have your phone at all. Because I think cell phones are a distraction, and too many of you all are too addicted to them. And to keep the addiction away, because the fact that you are crying and pounding about that you can't have it for 10 minutes while you're walking through a hallway to go to the other place is saying that you're addicted to it. It's saying that it's got control over you. You can't wait a whole day till you get to the things that are priority to you, which is your education, that I got to rush back to it. You're like a crackhead going to the drug house. So we're trying to teach you how that breaks addictions. That says, okay, you know what? Let me enjoy my. You can sit down now, son. Look like you wide awake now. That says, okay, and guess what? That happens on the workforce. People ain't gonna. You got jobs that won't let you have your phone on the whole time. People get fired because they got their phones on their job. So we're trying to teach you discipline. The rules are to protect you. And if you are so addicted to the phone that for 10 minutes, or you got to sneak the phone and bring the phone in the class, that means that has too much of control over you, too much authority over you. And that it's taking your focus. So look at what we're trying to do rather than looking at now, and the same thing, knowing the people, knowing the student, the teacher have to look at it and say, you know what? I know as young people, they've gotten so addicted to phones until it's hard for them to even function and operate without them. It's hard to operate without them. Let me give you an example of how, you know, and one of the things I like when I go to Africa, as I see kids being kids, children being children. They don't have all the cell phones. They don't have all of that. But they're enjoying life. This is the period that you need to go in to say, you know what, let me enjoy communication. Let me enjoy life. Let me enjoy. A lot of you all like people skill, like communication skills, like one-on-one interaction, because most of your interaction now is done through texting and all those kind of things. So these are things that help build your communication skills. These are things that help you keep from being addicted. And you do have addictions. If the parent takes one device and you go steal another one and hook it up to the computer, that's an addiction. You get mad enough, there's a boy killed his parents because they took his phone. You get mad enough that you can't have a phone, it brings you in rage. That thing has too much control over you. It means that you cannot even enjoy yourself, that you cannot survive. Now that shows that you can't survive without a phone. Somebody taking a phone makes you depressed enough that you want to kill yourself. Somebody takes a phone, make you depressed enough that you sit in the room and cry all day, that has too much of control over you. So to break that, so you don't really realize that you're being controlled by that little small agent. Your whole life goes into shambles because you don't have a phone. So taking those and giving you periods where you don't have that is breaking addictions and keeping you to be able to be sane. I mean, you let a parent take a phone and tell you can't have it for a week or 2 weeks. You're like a junkie begging for it. You don't understand that means that particular thing has control over you. So much of control that you're crippled, that you don't want to talk to nobody, you don't want to deal with anybody. It has so much of control over you until you will try to sneak it into class for a couple of minutes just to get on it. And then the teacher takes it, and then you got a real bad problem with it. But you knew the consequences of the whole thing from the beginning. And now you're trying to ease through the rules. You know the consequences of it, but you couldn't stay away from it. Those are addictions. Y'all with me? Titus 1 and 10. Look at Titus 1 and 10. And then I'm going to, Titus, first chapter, 10 verse. For there are many unruly and vain talkers. Now we're talking about unruly. People that don't like rules. People that don't like to obey rules. People like to challenge rules. Okay? If a rule is out of order, fine. But if a rule is put in there, don't always try to bend the rules or break the rules. See, what happens is when you break rules, it moves the discipline out of you. Try to learn how to keep rules so that you'll be a disciplined person rather than break rules. So someone says, we need to be in at 6. Well, you say, what about 6:05? You're not learning the discipline of time. Somebody says the books need to be done by so in some of your everything that is set in line, you seek to challenge it. You seek to change it. That's a person that don't like rules, and that's a person that don't like order. Mom said you can be in at 12, but what about 12:30? Mom said the dishes need to be washed. And see, you'll become a person that's unstable because anywhere you go, there's rules. You'll never be able to stay with anybody because if they give you a set time that you need to be in, you won't want to obey that. If they give you a set time you need to do something, you don't want to obey that. So at some points, rules are set. You obey those rules. You keep those rules. And you learn how to follow within those rules because driving is about rules. You got to stop at stop signs. You got to slow down at yellow lights. You got to go at green lights. You got to put on seat belts. Everything about rules. Everything is about order. Everything is about law. Everybody follow me? So let's not challenge the rules and everything. Now, can we look, and I'm willing to, when I communicate with you, I'm willing to hear and listen to what you say and see are the rules reasonable? Or are some things reasonable? So what my job is now, teacher's job, look at the relationship, focus on relationships. Student job is focus on the rules. My job is to focus on the rules and the relationships. So when I'm coming in, and I'm hearing that there's problems, there's a couple of things I want to look at. I want to look at the rules that's set and make sure the rules are fair, and I want to make sure the relationship that the teachers have, that even if the rule is right, if there's no relationship, then I want to know why it's so difficult for the relationship. Because the rule can be right, but the relationship has been out of shape. So let's talk about this, okay? Everybody with me? Rules come with consequences and rewards. So we want to talk about that, consequences and reward. Let's talk about some rules that you don't like. What are some rules that you don't like? I want to hear them. Let me hear them. Let's talk about some school rules that you don't like. Huh? Only having one break? Okay, that's a rule you don't like? Okay, right? Who else have a rule you don't like? Can't spray perfume class, Okay, so let's go over this. Let's stop here. Let's deal with this. Now, this is what your job, this is what you're going to do, because I want you to think. Listen, I want you to think about the rule, not the teacher, but I want you to focus on the rule. The first one, that you can't spray perfume. Who said that? Was you? Okay, can't say. What are the consequences of that, and what are the rewards of that? No, come to me. Come on. Now, I don't want everybody talking while they're talking, because I want to hear this. Come. Why would that rule be set in line? What are the consequences and the pros and cons?
Some people got allergies. That's why we can't spray it. But I feel like we should get sprayed.
Some people got allergies. Okay. Who else know what is a good and bad of that rule? What is good and bad of that rule? Okay. All right. Who has anybody complained that the perfume irritates their nose in your class? All right, in your class. This is Gina's class that does not with the perfume, right? No, I can't hear you. Hey, guys, y'all, listen, I'm talking. So they can't spray in yours and Sister Sheffield's. But they can't spray it. Okay, so anybody in the class, in Sister Sheffield's classroom or in Sister Gina's classroom who has allergies or a spraying perfume irritates your nose, stand up, please. Stand up. Huh? Yeah, whoever spraying irritates your nose, stand up. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, there's 3. All right, who else? Stand up. Stand up. Who else? Who else? Jalen? Okay, so be seated. Okay, now that rule makes sense because everybody's here to go to class. Now, there's another thing. Think about it. Should we make the whole class not wear perfume or not wear what's name because of another person? No, you say no? Okay, see, that's not thinking from an adult standpoint. Let me tell you why. All of us come to learn. Are there some things that you don't like? Anybody got anything that you don't like? Now think about this real good. You want us to change the rules on certain things because it makes you uncomfortable. Just because it makes you uncomfortable. Everybody in school may not agree, but it just makes you uncomfortable. But yet, you don't have compassion enough on somebody that this is making them choke and smell, and you don't have enough compassion on them to make them comfortable. But you want rules to change to make you comfortable. But because that's selfishness. You want it for you, but when it comes to them, no. Let them go through the smell. But now I want my phone at my certain time because of me. Or I want rules for me. So that means now you're only considering yourself. So that's not that. Now you're not considering 3 or 4 other people that are to be your friends. Or 3 other folk that are gonna be able not to get. They're gonna be sneezing and different things like that because it makes them uncomfortable. Now, there are things that make you uncomfortable, but you want those things changed for you, but you don't consider the other people that need things changed for them. That's lopsided thinking, because there's a few things that you like that you don't like in school, but you want those things changed. Do we consider other students when we make those rules, or you just consider yourself? Right? You're going to say something. Let me hear you. Okay, well then that's something to consider. So I could consider that. Then what should our alternative be? What should our focus be on? Hold on, I'm coming. What should because I'm trying to get you to think through. What should our focus be on now? Huh? Now you're getting close. What are some of the focus that we could focus on? You can think it out. I want you to think about it out. Because I want you to think solution. Y'all listen, right? Think solution. What could you do? Well, not even air freshener. Open the door, get a window. See, so instead of, this is the thinking. This is the thinking. Hey, stop beating. Stop beating. This is the thinking. I want you to think through it. Instead of having a one-track mind, say, oh, the rule is bad. Well, let's change. Let's make some alternatives that the rules can still be in place, because if we can't get rid of the rules because another thing you got to think about, it's going to make it worse for the people that are in there if I spray and there's no window. So why don't I say in my complaint, say, listen, we need an additional window in our classroom so that we won't have that problem, instead of challenging the rule or even getting upset at the person that makes the rule, because they're only making the rule so it can be better for another student, for another person. Have you ever went to get a burger, and when you went to get that burger, you don't like something on that burger and you ask them to take it off? Now, what if they said, oh, we don't do it that way. We don't cook it that way. They have to consider certain things in specific for the individual. So that's a good way of thinking through it. Don't think everybody, oh, why they make this rule is just for me. Now you got to think about the other students that's affected, and then let's get an alternative way we can make it better for them. Think of solution. Follow what I'm saying? Rather than thinking somebody. So that was a good thing that you did to think through, and the other students help you as well think through it. All right, what was it? Somebody else had a comment on that? Somebody else had a comment? Yes. Was another rule? Something else? I'm going to let the staff go. You all can go ahead. If y'all choose to, you can go ahead. Yes. Huh? Not using your 5 minutes when you can. I'm coming to you guys, okay? Now, staff, if y'all want to, you can go. Y'all can stay a little longer. Not using your 5 minutes when you can, okay? What is the pros and cons of that? And give me a little bit of information on that, not using the 5 minutes. Teacher, I'll get to y'all. Y'all don't have to put your hands up until I come to your side. All right. So they can't get 5 minutes whenever they want to get it. We can go off there. We can go off.
Morning, they can get 5 minutes out of free time. And then if they do their chores